Hey guys, today we're going to learn Numpy. This is the first video of our Numpy series, so don't forget to tune in for the next videos. So let's start by installing Numpy to our computer. If you're using PyCharm like me, which I recommend you to, you can just go down and click the terminal here and write pip install Numpy. So I already have it, so it will say requirement already satisfied. And if you're using a different title than PyCharm, you can just go here and write terminal here. After you wrote terminal, you can just go down and write pip3 install numpy. Since I don't have a Python package or any other editors on my computer, I should get an error here. Yes, as you can see, I get an error here, but if you have another environment, idle or text editor, you should be all right. So let's start by calling our numpy here, import numpy as np. The reason we're using np is it's much easier to call and faster to call numpy than writing numpy here. If you want, you can change this to x or any other symbol you want, but I'm going to go ahead and write here np so that it would be more easy to understand. So let's start by learning arrays first. I'm going to go ahead and create a variable called array and then write np.array. So in NumPy, the most important thing you should know is array has dimensions. The only difference it's not the only difference, but the main difference between a normal Python array and a NumPy array is NumPy arrays has dimensions. So at first I'm going to show you what's a zero-dimensional array look like, and then a first-dimensional, two-dimensional, and three-dimensional arrays. For zero-dimensional arrays, they can only contain one element. So I'm going to go ahead and type here 1, and when we print our variable, we should get only 1 here. If you try to put more elements here, you should get an error because this is only a zero-dimensional array and you can only input one element at a time. If you want to input more elements, you can go ahead and create a one-dimensional array, and for that you need square brackets, and you can go just create a one-dimensional array. So dimensional arrays build up. What that means is when you create a one-dimensional array, it should only contain zero-dimensional arrays. So when you go ahead and want to create two-dimensional arrays, it should only contain one-dimensional arrays. So as you can see, this is still a one-dimensional array. And actually it is not an array because you don't contain this in any way. In order to contain this, you should also put a square brackets here too. So this might be sounding a little confusing. So let me explain. In how dimensions works is they got to be inside of each other. So you can't just go ahead and create random one-dimensional arrays and don't group them under something. You have to group them under something. So that's when two-dimensional arrays comes in. Now as you can see, we have a two-dimensional array, and you can see this from here. And if you want to learn how many dimensions your array has, you can just go ahead and click here and so let me explain how you build a two-dimensional array. A two-dimensional array should only have one-dimensional elements here. So if I go here and type a comma and 10 here, this would turn back to a one-dimensional array, as you can see here. And how this will look is like this. As you can see, Python configures this as a list now, and he counts this as a zero-dimensional element as well. Now let's look at what's a three-dimensional array looks like. A three-dimensional array should contain only two-dimensional objects in it. So we should go ahead and create another two-dimensional array here, and I'm going to go ahead and write 7, 8, 9, and then I'm going to write here 10, 11, 12, and I should also contain this by square brackets, and if I don't, I will get an error, as you can see in the run section. So let's contain this in another square bracket, and when I run this, as you can see, now I have a three-dimensional array here. So how you can understand what array has what dimensions, you can use this technique. So as you can see, it has outer two square brackets here, and when you look inside, you see a two group here, and when you examine that group, it also has two groups here which have one-dimensional arrays. So this means that this one should be two-dimensional arrays, and when you look at the second group, you'll also get the same result. So you understand that a two-dimensional array can build up a three-dimensional array. So this might be sounding a little confusing right now, and it probably is. But you will learn in no time. So let's check how many dimensions this array has. As you can see, we have 3 dimensions here. So you might still have some question marks on your head, and now we're going to learn indexing, so you probably will understand better while I teach indexing. So as normal Python indexing, we open square brackets next to our variable, and then we unwrap our array. First of all, we look at it at general. As you can see, this is our array, the part I highlighted. And now this array contains only 2 elements. The first element is this one, and the second element is this one. So first of all, if we want to receive 5 here, we should determine which element is 5 in. And as you can see here, it's in the first element, so we're going to go ahead and type 0 here, and then we'll pass the next step. Then we take this as our array, and we see that it only has 2 elements here. So we can see that it's on the second element, so we go ahead and write 1 here, and then put another comma. So we wanted 5, and we can see that 5 is the second element, so we're going to go ahead and type 1 here, and the output would be 5. So as you can see, you index it step by step, and you should put commas on every step. If still it's not clear for you, let me give you another example. Let's try to index 11 here. If you want, you can stop the video here and try it yourself. Good. Now let me do it. First of all, we're taking this as our whole array and finding in which element our number is. As we can see, it's in the second element, so we type here 1 here, and then we take the second element as our array and determine which array is 11 in. As we can see, it's in the second element, so we go ahead and type here 1. Now it's time to index the 0 dimensionals. So as we can see, 11 is the second element here, so we again go ahead and write 1 here. And our output is 11. You might still have some question marks in your head. Feel free to write your questions in comments, and I will try to respond it as fast as I can. Now let's move on to the slicing part. Slicing is same as, well, it's not actually same, but it's close to the normal Python slicing, and we're going to use this same format as we used in indexing. So let's go ahead and slice it. For example, I only want to get the second element in the 3-dimensional array, so I'm going to go ahead and write 1 here and put this on. Later I'm going to type a comma here and let's say I want to receive this entire array here. I'm going to get 0 here and do this. Now, after I receive this entire array, let's print this out. As you can see, we have this entire array to ourselves. Let's say I only want to get this second element in the two-dimensional array here. And I only want elements from 11 to 12. So I go ahead and put a comma here and write 1. When we print this out, we should only get 11 and 12, and as you can see, we did it. This might be still confusing for you, so you can go ahead and practice with this, and you try to get 2 here. Pause the video and try to get 2. Okay, now let me show you how to do that. First of all, you should only want to get this element here, so we're gonna go ahead and type 1 here and do the same thing so that we can only get this part, and later on I want to do you have two chances here. You can just write here 1 and you should get the 2, or you can write 1 to 2 and you should still get 2 here. So that will be the end of slicing. Now let me show you how you can create a bunch of zeros, ones, and use a method similar to range to create your arrays faster. So I'm going to delete this part and this part of the code. First of all, I'm going to show you how to get a bunch of zeros. Let's type here zeros. Numpy has its own method for it, and then type how many zeros we want. Let's say I want 10 zeros. When I run this, I should get 10 zeros here. Also, we can make a two-dimensional array with zeros here. For that, we should open another parentheses layer here and enter how many one-dimensional arrays we want. Let's say I want 5 one-dimensional arrays, and in each one-dimensional array I want 3 zeros. So this might be a little confusing for you, but it will be more clear when we print out this statement. So let's run this, and as you can see, we have 5 one-dimensional arrays here and 3 in each one-dimensional array. So we have this other method called ones here for the number 1. As you can see, it uses the same format as zeros do, and it's pretty easy to use it. So you might thinking that, well, will I use this? And to be honest, you're not going to use this very often. You can come across this more often in data science and machine learning. But if you're not doing those, you should not see this very often. So for our last method for this lecture, it's going to be arrange. Sorry, I typed wrong. Arrange. Arrange works the same as a range method. So we're going to go ahead and type 0 and 10, and this would get us all the numbers between 0 and 10. As you can see, we receive this. And another benefit of this arrange method is you can also add the step size here. So if I only want to get even numbers here, I can just go ahead and write 2 here, and as you can see, now I have only have the even numbers. If I want only the odd numbers here, I can just go ahead and write 1 here, and this should work the same way. So I hope you guys understand and like the video. If you have any questions, you can type in the comments. I will put some additional resources to the description part of the video. I hope you liked the video. Don't forget to like and subscribe and tune in for the next episodes.